What's up, everybody? This is our college basketball big game breakdown for Saturday, March 8th. My name is Logan. With me in the studio, Nick Von Brick.
What's up?
Bam ghosted us again, so we're just me and Nick, only one camera tonight. Bam got a first date in the middle of March Madness. He told me he couldn't make it. He was reluctant to tell me why, and then I wish he wouldn't have told me why. It's March Madness. Our head needs to be in the game. His is not. His head is in first date Italian food. We're going to dive into everything that happened on Tuesday. We had a great night, and then we're going to give you our best bets for a loaded Saturday slate. Conference tournaments are in swing, but the big ones are right around the corner, and then March Madness begins about 2 weeks from now. Tuesday, good night for you, 3-0 sweep. I go 1-1, but we were head-to-head on Iowa State BYU. Just out of curiosity, hit the like and subscribe button as well if you don't mind. Just out of curiosity, what are your thoughts on that game? Because that was a very unorthodox game.
Yeah, it was like long stretches of dominance by both teams, you know? So to begin the game, Iowa State started off great, and then to close the first half, not so good.
Well, I disagree. Defensively, they started out great, but they couldn't hit a shot either.
Yeah.
I was looking at that as like, I think it was 8 minutes in, they had 8 turnovers, BYU. I tweeted out, they're turning it over one time a minute. But Iowa State couldn't jump out to a lead. They couldn't hit threes the game before. That's why I was kind of expecting or hoping that their outside shot was going to continue with what they did against, who was it, Arizona? Well, it didn't. But, yeah, BYU jumps out to a 20-point lead, but then Iowa State comes back from the 20-point lead. And we kept going overtime. Then I'm like, you've seen it before. You go to overtime, the team jumps out to – the problem was every overtime BYU hit the three first. I'm like, fuck. As soon as they hit the first three, I'm like, now we need double overtime. And we fucking got it. But if Iowa State hits that three, you get a stop. All of a sudden you're up 5. You slow it down. You start playing the free throw game a little bit. It's like you could cover that number. You could get to 9. But I walked away from it like I would maybe bet Iowa State again.
Yeah.
Like defensively, they just couldn't hit a shot. But
the stretch to come back defensively was super impressive.
Yes, but it's like what happened in between there? It looked like they like gave up. I thought they packed it in. They were like not guarding the rim. They weren't switching screens. They weren't doing anything. I was like, did they just pack it in? And then all of a sudden they stepped on the gas and got back in. So it's like if you go 40 minutes of that, they're going to blow them out of the water. You saw it in the beginning, shutting them down completely. They sleptwalked for 20 minutes and then completely shut them down again. And then obviously BYU pulled it out in overtime. And you got to tip your cap. BYU's a good team. BYU can shoot the ball very well. But they were cold to start that game. And then you saw a couple go in. They just went on a crazy run. They went on a 9-0 run in like a minute. And it's like, okay, great. But I walked away from that one where I was like if Iowa State doesn't battle back, you're going, okay, you have a bad taste in your mouth about Iowa State, but they did. So I'm like, dude, if they played tomorrow, I might bet Iowa State again. With what they're able to do on the defensive side of the ball, they could not get a bucket to go. But yeah, it was weird. It was one of those, like, I felt confused after that game. Like, I don't know how to really interpret that. You got to give BYU credit. It's a hostile environment, tough place to go play. But
yeah, and at the end, it was just both teams were exhausted. Mm-hmm. So I think the pressure that Iowa State put on BYU late in that game to force the comeback.
Yeah.
They kind of weren't able to keep doing that into overtime because just guys were exhausted.
Yeah,
really on both sides, but
I thought more on BYU. I thought they looked more worn down, but they just kept hitting that 3 to open up overtime, and it makes life so much easier when you do that. But yeah, so that was an interesting one. It was an odd game just with the swings, and obviously it's a game of runs, but those are some pretty big runs. So 3-0 for you, 1-1 for me. On our big game breakdowns, which is Saturday and Tuesday, as it currently stands, I am 15-7. Nick is 11-7. We're doing very well. If we've helped you cash a ticket, hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. Tell a friend if you want. Just help. That's how you can help us out. We're never going to charge you for these picks, but you can help us out by hitting the like and subscribe button. I'm also doing the daily plays. I've got 2 today. 1 has already cashed. It was the first game of the day with High Point -12. Got really good CLV and a no sweat winner there. And we got one more tonight with Boise State -5.5. But that's not why we're here. We're here to break down Saturday's slate. A lot of good big-time matchups. Conference tournaments right around the corner. I got 4 plays. Actually, I've got 5 plays. How many? You have 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any at 11?
Yeah.
Which one? What's your first one?
Arkansas.
I'm on it as well. Interesting. You want to go first, or you want me to go first then?
I'll go first. We kind of, or at least you did. You mentioned it last episode that we were on together Tuesday. You were questioning whether to take Arkansas against Vanderbilt, and it's kind of like you wanted to wait and see because without Adu Thiero, they were struggling.
Yeah.
Last game against Vanderbilt, a lot of questions got answered, in my opinion. Trayvon Brazile stepped up big time in Thiero's absence.
Yep.
One of the things you look at Mississippi State is they're not a really good team from shooting the ball from 3 outside the top 300 and 3-point field goal percentage. Where they do most of their work is they do a good job protecting the basketball, and they're good in and around the rim. Arkansas, really good defense, top 15 in schedule-adjusted defensive efficiency, the 53rd perimeter defense. They're top 10 nationally in block rate. Even without Thiero, they still have their top 3 shot blockers. So I like Arkansas here. They really need it. Get a little bit of momentum going into the SEC tournament, where maybe they're not forced to do as much to make the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I agree. So, and just to set the stage, it's Mississippi State on the road taking on Arkansas. Arkansas is firmly on the bubble, and I would say they're leaning towards in currently after the good win against Vanderbilt. Like you touched on, I was on the fence. I nearly took it. Wish I did. They were getting 6.5. They won by 13. So Thiero, the rumor circulating is that he's tore his meniscus and he's done. He's not coming back this year. But offensively, this team has made their money with their defense. But offensively, they've won 3 out of the last 4 games. They've scored 90-plus in 2 of the 3. The other one, they were in the 80s. So they're putting points up on the board. Ivisic is 23rd in the nation in blocks, one of the best rim protectors in the country. So the defensive side of the ball is going to be there. Of course, you would love to have Thiero. This is also one of those, a lot of people live or die by the system of laying points with an unranked team when they're favored against a ranked team. This falls into that category. It's not necessarily exactly why we're doing it. I like this Arkansas team. I think you could say this is one of Coach Cal's better coaching performances just with the circumstances, the hand he's been dealt. Thiero's now out. Boogie Fland only played 18 games. That's their top 2 leading scorers. So he's had to put together a big-time make adjustments, and defensively they're well coached. So I'm impressed with the response that Arkansas has had after dropping their first 5 conference games and now putting themselves back firmly in the mix to try to make the tournament. So laying 1.5 points on the home court, I think these two teams are very similar in skill level. Obviously, Mississippi State with Hubbard, he's the leading scorer. He's by far, I would say, almost primarily their entire offense. So if you can take him away, kind of muddy the waters a little bit, I think it's going to be a dogfight style of a game. But we've seen Arkansas not shy away from those as of late. So yeah, I'm going to lay 1.5 with the Razorbacks.
Yeah, it's the line here is starting to move, right? And it's at Caesars it's Arkansas -1. At DraftKings, it's Arkansas +1. At ESPN Bet and FanDuel, it's -110 on the money line for both teams. So probably call it a pick 'em here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're getting a point at DraftKings.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. Yeah, you want to just call it a pick 'em?
Yeah.
Split the difference. So yeah, Arkansas and a pick 'em. I do have another 11 o'clock game. I was on the fence on this one, but I think I'm going to do it. Marquette taking on St. John's. Marquette's at home, laying 2 points. No Davion Smith for St. John's. He's been in and out of the lineup for the last few weeks with battling the shoulder injury. He's the point guard. These two teams have obviously played already. You know what you're getting. 2 teams that put a lot of pressure on you, force a lot of turnover, specifically St. John's, one of the best, if not the best defense in the country. But lately, they have not been taking care of the ball. They beat Seton Hall by 10, but didn't look great. They beat Butler by, I think, 6, but same thing, didn't look great. Marquette's coming off the loss. Marquette needs a good showing here on the home court. No dominant bigs for St. John's to give Marquette trouble. I'm going to lean the Golden Eagles here on the home court and lay 2 points. I think we see them get it done in this spot. I think St. John's is not running out of gas or anything, but I think we've seen them at their peak, and just stylistically, it's going to be a scrappy dogfight of a game, I think, with the home court behind you. I think Marquette's going to pull it out, so we'll lay 2 points with the Golden Eagles as my second play for Saturday. What is your second?
I'm going to Duquesne at St. Louis. St. Louis is 6-point favorites. St. Louis's defense, it's one of the better defenses in the A-10, and lately they've been shooting the ball well from three. Even in their last game, which we bet against them, they started off shooting the ball red hot from three. They got out to a double-digit lead at halftime, and then Dayton kind of just came back and dominated the second half. Duquesne perimeter defense ranks 283rd nationally, and offensively, you're just not getting a lot from them. So I'd like to lay 6 points here. I think St. Louis is shooting the ball well enough.
Okay. Yeah, you were just on the right side of Dayton in that game. Okay. I mean, this is pretty much what I do every time we do these big game breakdowns. I go to the big games. We're going to Auburn at home taking on Alabama. Auburn's laying 8.5 points. Last time we saw them play, you could be impressed either way in terms of Auburn jumped out to a lead. Alabama battled back, got the momentum behind them. So I was impressed with the way Alabama responded, but I was also equally impressed with how Auburn took the body blows and countered back and pulled away late in that game. Bama's lost 4 out of their last 6, including the previous matchup with Auburn. They shot poorly, 38% from the floor, 19% from the three-point line. But the question here is, what is Auburn's motivation? I understand they just came off the loss, but you've got the number 1 seed in the SEC tournament. You've got the number 1 seed locked up for March Madness. So Bama needs a get-right game. And I'm not saying they're going to win this, but 8.5 feels like too many points. I could be falling right into the rat trap with the cheese right there. But we're going to take Alabama plus 8.5. I just think it's too many points. I would expect Janai Broome hurt his shoulder. He was in and out of the lineup. And late down the stretch, there's just literally nothing for Auburn to play for other than pride, and you don't want to start losing in March, I guess. But you also – Alabama needs it more. So, and if Alabama is going to do anything, which – to be honest, I don't think they're going to. I've been very critical of this Alabama team. But you got to have at least a good showing here. You can't get blown. You can't get beat by double digits, and I don't think they will. I think they'll hang in this game. It'll be close. Auburn maybe pulls away late, but Alabama, if they're hitting threes, they can beat anybody in the country. So give me plus 8.5 with the Crimson Tide. What is your final play?
USC at UCLA. UCLA's 9.5 point favorite. Matchup favors UCLA here. USC's good offensively. They shoot the three extremely well, top 40 in the nation. But they have a turnover problem. USC's a top 100 perimeter defense nationally, and they're number 1 in the Big Ten in forcing turnovers. So USC's defense ranks in the bottom half of the Big Ten in almost every category, while UCLA's offense is the exact opposite. I just think USC's outmatched here. The only way I think they keep this game close is if they're hitting threes. So we're going to lay 9.5 with UCLA.
Okay. I do like UCLA. I haven't seen them a ton, but defensively they're always good, but they can score it and shoot it a little bit better than in years past. All right, I have 2 more. The first one, again, we're basically making our rounds across the entire ESPN game schedule for Saturday. Duke going on the road to take on North Carolina. ESPN has been trying to hype this up as the rivalry that it's been for years and years and years. It hasn't really been that competitive. Duke blew them out of the water in the first matchup. North Carolina's plus 11.5 on the home court. And I'm going to either look like a genius or a fool, because we're going to take North Carolina again. We took them in the first matchup. It was one of the first plays I gave out when I started betting college basketball. We were in the midst of a 6 run. Got off to a terrible start. We bounced back in a huge way. But we're going to go back to it. North Carolina plus 11.5. They're also on the bubble. I would say on the outside looking in. The quad one record is not good. 1-10, I believe, is what has been circulating. But they're rolling offensively right now. We were just on them against Virginia Tech. They blew Virginia Tech out of the water. They were, 7.5-point favorites. They won by like 30. They were hitting shots. They were playing good defense. Trimble was guarding very well. It's the same thing with Duke. What's the motivation? Why do you need to beat North Carolina by a ton? Not that you're going to go out and be like, all right, we're going to shoot for double digits here. But they've got everything locked up as well. North Carolina needs this game bad. This is pretty much do or die. You're on the bubble, but you're on the outside looking in. With the offense and the way it's rolling right now and the way they're shooting the ball, you're back on your home court. Duke's defense is incredible. And I'm possibly going to be the biggest bozo of Saturday going against the clear-cut number 1 and 2 best teams in the country, betting against Auburn and then now betting against Duke. But we are going to take 11.5 points with North Carolina. It just feels like too many. Like I said, they move at a crazy pace, but they're getting a ton of efficient looks. So, yeah, give me the Tar Heels. Do or die spot, plus 11.5. And then my last play for Saturday, I told you we're making the ESPN rounds, 9 p.m. tip. Houston on the road taking on Baylor. Houston's 4.5-point favorites on the road. Two teams, very slow pace. Same thing. I'm going to look like a bozo or a genius, but we're going to go over 130.5. They played earlier a couple weeks ago. There was 141 points scored in that game. Both teams shot it pretty well. Baylor's perimeter defense is bad. It's 281st in the nation, and Houston's shooting the ball great. Baylor has multiple guys that can shoot the ball. I love Edgecombe. I think he's going to be a great NBA player. He's a guy who can put the ball on the floor and get to the rim. I think we could see a lot of free throws in this game. The pace is going to be slow. But it's just too low of a number. I don't think this is going to be in the 120s. So 65-65, and then somebody's got to win the ball game, and we're going to get the over here. So I'm going to go over 130.5 again. Could be falling for the trap. But so far, we've fared pretty well on the big game breakdowns. Again, I'm 15-7, Nick's 11-7. So, yeah, I have 5 plays for Saturday. You have 3. I'm feeling good. The tournament's right around the corner. And I think I said this last year where it's like, I get anxious, I want it to get here. But I think that's the beauty of it is the looking forward to it. It's coming because you're going to be in the middle of it and you're going to be fuck, worn out and all this and that. But it's the anticipation is arguably the best part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So enjoy the moment. There's money to be made. Conference tournaments are almost as good as the big tournament. So we got a lot more money to be made. Hit the like and subscribe button. Come along with us for the ride. It's going to be fun. 5 plays from me. To recap, we're going Arkansas minus 1.5, Marquette minus 2, Alabama plus 8.5, North Carolina plus 11.5, and Houston Baylor over 130.5.
Okay, we got Arkansas in a pick'em, St. Louis minus 6, and UCLA minus 9.5.
All righty. That is our best bets for our big game breakdown of college basketball Saturday, March 8th. Anything to say before we go?
Nope.
Again, guys, please hit the like and subscribe button. If we help you cash a ticket, that's how you can help us out. We will not charge for our picks. We made money last year. We're making money right now. We're having a great week so far. Really, we're having a great month, but we haven't lost money at all this week, and we're going to plan to keep that trend going. We've already got a winning ticket in our pocket today. We're going to try to get one more with Boise, and then here's to a good Saturday. Y'all have a good one.